If you've never heard of Joe Biffspick, he's a character on Little Abner. Had a cloud above his head all the time, a rain cloud. Well, I went to start the tractor, and it went click and shut down. Not that I think the battery's the problem. Probably 10 millimeter. They should be sent in the field for like so many years. Well, my camera shut down because it was too hot. Probably gonna have to call Okanagan Truck and Tractor and have them come out. Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the channel. Eric the Old Jarhead here. In a previous video, I couldn't get my tractor started. I tried to start it, turned the key, glow plugs, ignition, everything came on. Turned the key to start the tractor and everything went dead. So I started trying to troubleshoot. I checked the battery, it was 12.5 volts. One of you made a suggestion, and thank you for that. And anybody else, if you've got suggestions, be sure to drop them down below in the comments for me. Let me know what you think I should check. But one of the suggestions was turn the lights on and then see what the battery does. Well, the problem with that, folks, is I have no ignition. When I turn the key to ignition on now, there are no lights. It's completely dead. Another suggestion by one of you was check the contact between the battery negative and the frame itself, your ground strap, and that's a good suggestion. And then in that video, I also removed my dash, and that was something that I wanted to do for a couple different reasons. One, my PTO wasn't working. Two, just to make sure there weren't any, rodents in there chewing on the wires, and I didn't find any rodent chews, but I did find a black box. Now, at the time, it got really hot. I was very frustrated. I'll admit it, I'm human. So I walked away. I left the tractor sitting just like this. So I went and I got a schematic. I looked it over, checked everything out. And lo and behold, in the dash, under the steering wheel, covered by a plastic plate, there is a fuse box. So today, the first thing I'm gonna do is stick the key in it and make sure nothing comes on because, I've had that happen. And then we're gonna go ahead and dig into this thing and see if we can figure out what's going on. So, let's stop jaw-jacking and get to work. All right, so there's this little black box down here that I discovered. And it even tells you what fuses you have. I just heard this strange buzzing noise behind me, and it happens to be Darcy spraying some Home Defense Max. So, all right, so let's have a look. We've got panel, light, horn. Oh, and you know what? I told you I was going to check the ignition before getting started, and then what did I do? Jumped in with both feet, raced into the burning building. Oh, you know what, folks? I did have a light flicker. That could be that battery. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and just start popping fuses and not lose them. Make sure they're all good to go. I will tell you that since I turned that ignition and I got a flicker, that I find interesting. That to me suggests it could very well be just a simple ground wire. It'll look fine. Okay, all right, so far no bad fuses. Now, I'm gonna grab my multimeter with its almost dead battery and check the contacts from the battery to the frame. All right, so far the mosquitoes have not eaten me alive. They've got almost no battery left here. Oh, I should have enough though. First, we'll do a quick check on this battery again. And I've actually got 12.8 here. So what I want to do now is do a continuity check. This is interesting. This may be loose a little bit. At first, it wasn't doing anything, and then I heard something. Okay, that looks good. Let's just see something. I think we may have found the issue, folks. Oh, hell yeah. Ha! We might have it, folks. Gonna grab some tools. Yeah, I think that's just loose, so I need to clean that up probably and figure out what size that is. All I'm doing now, folks, is I'm just gonna clean up this battery terminal and make sure that I've got a decent connection. Look at all that dust. It's the problem with tractors. All right, let's tighten that down. This is exciting, folks. I think we've got it. Unfortunately, this poor tractor has been out here for so many years. Gosh, it's been out here a dozen years now. Just out here in the elements, so this is what happens. I think that may be all it was. For all this, I think we got it. Just putting the cover back on the fuse box, because, you know, that's probably a good idea. Now I will have to put the whole dash back together since I left it off. Got it fixed. Now I gotta put it all back together. Okay, folks, in my last video, I mentioned my frustration with engineers. Hey, you know what? Are you an engineer? Or maybe you're somebody who you've dealt with this and so it aggravates you when it comes to engineers. But folks, way up here, there's one of these bolts and I can't get a ratchet. I tried to get a ratchet in here, but maybe if I had a wobbly or something, I could do it. But honestly, I just said to heck with it. And so I've got to try to use this 10mm wrench to tighten this down. Come on, Mahindra. I mean, well, TYM made this tractor for Mahindra, but obviously they weren't thinking that, gee whiz, when you put some hydraulics on here, you'd either have to take the hydraulics off or try to be a contortionist like I am right now. Although I'm happy to do it, because guess what? The tractor's running again. I would love to get that sawmill fired up again today and try to do that before it gets to be 100,000 degrees out. Oh, this could be a celebratory drink day. Oh, there we go. That's not fun. Not fun at all. All right, off to the other side. Oh. I can feel the contortionism that I had to go through there. Oh, look, another one. Well, one thing this has taught me is where the fuse box is. Can Eric find the screw hole without seeing? That is the real question. The answer so far is no. All right, now. Oh, I see. We gotta go up. Oh, okay. We are way down. All right. I didn't see that sitting up there. All right. So this actually. Ah, there we go. If you're in the right spot, you might actually be able to see what you're doing wrong. Funny that. Oh, that's got to go up more. Okay. All right. It's a good thing my memory still has, you know, still works, still functions. All right, that's back together. I just got to find my doodads, clips and doodads. This thing is definitely gotten dirty. Seen better days. Tighten that guy down. The old jar head can still fix things, I guess. At least a little bit. But boy, I was so frustrated last time. I think it was kind of a combination of heat, wasn't feeling well, frustration. I was just like, to heck with this. Now, this guy here, just also go back on. These things are a pain in the butt too, and I never really like what they do. They're kind of dumb. Look at the comments. Do you think these are stupid? You think a bungee cord would be smarter? Sometimes I think a bungee cord would probably be better. Especially when you can't get your face down in there. Okay. Holy smokes. I think I could have done this before. All right. Find a couple pieces here and there that I've got hidden, but let's see how she goes. All right, let's kick the dust up. I am stoked, folks. We got her fixed. Something so simple that it was just contacts. And a couple of you mentioned that, at least one for sure, but I think a couple of you mentioned it in my last video, and I appreciate that. I really do. I love your comments, folks, but you helped me out. That saved me at least $300 or $400, if not more, because the cost of bringing somebody from an hour away out here at their hourly rate and back, you're probably $300 just in travel, maybe $400 now, and then their time figuring out what's going on, and maybe they'd have figured it out in 5 minutes, but it still would have cost me $400, right? So I'm super stoked at that. It was something so simple. I mentioned earlier on, that's the kind of thing that I have seen before, which is why I decided to just throw the ignition switch real quick and just test it anyway to see. And when I saw that little blip in the lights, I knew gotta be contacts, not a fuse, not a relay, not a computer. Obviously it tried. And so I think what happened was it just had enough corrosion on the contacts to the battery that when I tried to fire it up last time, it had ignition, but as soon as I tried to fire it up, too much amperage across a corroded terminal, it just said, nope, not gonna happen. So, awesome. Now, I've got some dusty groundwork to do, so I'm gonna go get my base camp mask. And yeah, if you haven't checked those out, I'll drop a link down below, but they're a lot cooler to wear, especially in this kind of environment. But it's gonna stop me from having to breathe all this dust, and I'm gonna get to work because it's already 8 o'clock. I can feel we're into the 70s, maybe mid 70s already. It's gonna get into the upper 90s today. It's gonna be gross. So I figure, well, if I can get in here and clean up around the sawmill, which was my last plan, and really kind of clean up some more around here from a fire season perspective, because folks, the one thing you have to understand out here, it's super dry, it's been a hot summer, and God forbid somehow a fire gets started, that fire's burning until the snow flies. So I'm gonna get this thing going, get my base camp mask on, and I'm gonna start knocking out some of this groundwork here and really clean this up around the sawmill. Maybe spend about an hour doing that and then see if I can't fire the sawmill up. So thanks again for all your suggestions. I really do appreciate it. And hey, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit it, because honestly, you'll be able to make comments, because a lot of times I think you got to be a subscriber to make comments, and I really do appreciate your comments. Doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me out and I appreciate it. So thanks again, folks. I'm going to drop another video right here for you to check out. Tractor's running, so let's get to work.